We've just released our 300 series intake pipe, and what I wanted to show you guys was a bit of behind the scenes of all the R&D that's gone on to make this beautiful product. 300 series surge. If you own a 300 series, you've probably heard me talk about it a million times about the surging issues with the 300 series. Well, today we're down here at 888 and we have come up with some amazing products for these cars, so come for a walk.
I'm Shane Simmons. I'm one of the senior design engineers here at 888 Race Engineering. My main background has come across from the UK, from Formula One, World Rally, and then across to supercars, V8s in Australia. I think that's one of the main things that attract me to the motorsport is the necessity to evolve and change dynamically with design. We're not just designing simplistic items, we're designing things which inevitably will improve the vehicles of the future. You know, you look from Formula One down to other categories, everything on road cars today come from the evolution of motorsport. Around about October or so last year, Just Autos approached 888 and we sat down and went through a potential design brief, and Matt was very open about the problems and what they wanted to try and achieve with the 300 air intake and the 300 series, problems that the 300 series was going through. And with that, we created a design brief along with Jeremy Moore, our director.
Shane's been a big part of this and has designed the intake pipe for the 300 series. There was plenty of challenges with this, with obviously looking at trying to increase the airflow, but we've managed to solve pretty much 95% of that surge and make a huge improvement overall to this car. We've had prototypes already that we've had printed off as a 3D print, and now we have the modeling of what the end result will look like. So Shane's just going to quickly give us a brief sort of description and an overview of what the pipe is and what it looks like. But so far it looks pretty cool, and I'm really excited to get this on the car.
So we've taken the OEM inlet or compressor inlet, where we have an inlet from your airbox into two turbos. And what we've tried to do is keep it stock so that the end user can just remove the OEM part and this can be straight plug into the system without any adjustments.
And that was one brief that we had, is to design a pipe. We needed it to be very user friendly. It needed to look very similar to factory, but it had to outperform it in every way. And I guess that's what we've come up with there.
Yeah, exactly that. One of the things that we can see with the factory part is where it was being manufactured as an injection molding and for multiple volumes or high-end volumes, the internal flow path for the air was quite tortuous, especially as we got down towards the turbo inlet, and we actually constricted on the cross-sectional area, which would potentially impact flow. Another question we had was with the resonator, essentially the well on the end of the OEM intake. What impact would that have if we removed it and also enabled a larger volume through the flow path to the turbos, which is what we've gone for with this design. And I think the results have actually been very positive.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I was not a big believer at the start. Shane was very confident. I was like, oh, okay, we'll see what this does. When we put the first test one on our 300 series, had on the dyno, I actually had that pipe back on and off 3 times because I was doubting what I was seeing. I was like seeing such a big improvement. You know, we had a definite smooth between the first, second transition of that turbo. The surging was not prominent anymore, and I also found I was picking up around about that 45 to 50 horsepower in that mid-range section. So overall, I was very surprised. When I did call Shane to give him the results, he was like, yep, that's sort of what we expect. That's, you know, pretty good. And I was still, to this day, I was like, man, this is definitely a massive improvement in what I've seen. Neil was just explaining to me, this is part of the molding for the intake pipe that we're actually making. So this is like the base plate for the casting, goes to a casting place, so they pour aluminium into it and they make the molding. So this setup at the moment, it takes an extreme amount of time with the software to do it as well as the machining. I was actually quite shocked at the time and the lengthy time to do this. So this has been months in the process to get to this stage. So today they're just doing a rough in on this actual material that's there. It's a really, really hard bit of steel. You can hear behind me the noise that's coming from it. That is definitely, you know, understanding that it's a material that's going to be really good for the casting in the end. So these parts are part of the molding, so they're extra parts that will go into the bottom base plate, I'm guessing, and then there'll be a top plate that goes onto that, and that's how they end up with the actual product of where, when it's poured in there, it comes out as a solid cast pipe, and then that's in raw point, and then once that casting is taken from the molding, it then gets machined, is that correct?
Right.
And to the final finish, and then coating, and there's a few other steps that happen after that, but it's pretty cool to see the finish of all the machines. What they've done, like this is really hard steel, and you look at that, that's perfect, that's awesome. So
yeah, I think I'm very excited about where we've come to from October to now. Everything's come to fruition. I think the product looks fantastic. It's organic in shape, it looks professional, and the performance speaks for itself. You know, straight onto the dyno, to see the mid-range gains that we're seeing, the mitigation of the surge, and to have that impact and turn around and the product look as sleek and as professional as it does, I'm really happy with that, and yeah, I can't wait to actually see it out there in the market and just improving the 300 series.